Hello everyone, Old School from whatthebuck.net, reporting to you live from Miami, Florida. I'm actually literally right next to the airport. I want to apologize, I did not do a review of the Jaguars game. You guys know that we watched that together at the press box, the What the Buck crew, commemorating our friend Richard Zeller's life. And to be honest, I just didn't have the energy to go back and watch the game. I'm fading fast, but I did want to do a preview for you this week, and I know that Ren Dax and a bunch of the guys up there, I know Pewter Report and the Joe Bucs fan guys have been doing a lot of reporting from the Jacksonville Jaguars practice, which is great. It's tremendous that we have so many different sources for this sort of material, which is terrific. Greg Allman as well. There's been a lot of excitement coming out of that joint practice, a couple of fights, all things you'd expect towards the end of training camp as people are tired of hitting each other and looking forward to hitting other people. So when I look at what's going on this week, and by the way, because the game is Thursday, we will not have a podcast tomorrow night. We'll be catching up on our podcast a week after. But what we really want to see is that team, the health bug has bitten a little, right? We want to see these guys start to get healthy again. The Ryan Griffin thing has me very nervous because you guys know I'm not a huge Fitz guy, but if Fitz has got to be the guy, he's going to go in there and deliver the ball. If he delivers the ball, the receivers have to remember how to catch the damn thing, and that's not something you can correct outside of actually getting reps. Now, additionally, we've got to learn how to finish drives. When you have two chances at a fade of Mike Evans on an Oompa Loompa, you've got to be able to convert that. Now, I don't care if that's the play call. I think it probably is a good play call most of the time, given the mismatch that was there. But the reality is, I think that as a Buccaneers football team, what they'd rather be able to do is just shove that thing down their throat. That's going to come down to the offensive line imposing their will, a plus or minus a tight end here and there, and the running backs converting to get the ball in the end zone. So when we go into this Jacksonville game, obviously you want to move the ball. You've got to move the ball to score, but the point that I'm going to be focusing on is, can they convert? Can we get 7, not 3? Obviously, a lot of focus has been given on the 3 side with the cutting of Roberto Aguayo, the focus on kicking since he was drafted, the perseveration over the field goal game. Hopefully that will start to go away, and one way to make that go away quicker is to score more goddamn touchdowns. Now, Roberto made that a bit of a challenge as well by managing to miss extra points as well. And in frustration, you may have heard me on the podcast last week say the hell with kickers in general. Just go for 2 all the time. That's probably never going to be taken up, but if anyone would like to talk about that, we can certainly talk about it some more. But for right now, it's Nick Folk and Random Camp Leg. Myself and Chris from former Bucs Brief fame were cheering for a Pat Murray reunion, but the reality is we just need a guy who can kick the ball. I think it was a pretty stand-up move to handle it the way they did. I don't like that it's on Hard Knocks. I don't like that we get to see that side of the business, but it is what it is. Now, the other side is this anger you see coming out of the Jacksonville camp. That's got to get channeled for good. This team has a lot of that rage in a good way, not in a bad way. They're out there. They know that this is an important season. They know this is an opportunity for them to really kind of step up and ascend to that next level that they haven't been able to do before, where people aren't saying they're an outsider for the playoffs. Middle of the year, they're thinking these guys have a lock on the playoffs. These guys are a team to beat. That's sort of one of those conversions you have to go across. Mark and I have said for years, Mark Cook from Pewter Report, you got to get the team from thinking they can win to expecting to win. And so this team has to get that converted to step on the field every game and just expect this is another game that we're going to win. Unless something catastrophic happens, we should walk out of here with this W because we're the better team. And that just hasn't happened yet. I think they've got the right leadership, the players, and the coaches. Now it's just going to come down to the scoreboard. Other areas to focus on the running game. Obviously a lot of has been made of Doug Martin and what's going on with the running back stack. I'm one of the few guys who's not a huge Charles Sims guy. Charles Sims got a lot more credit after last week. He is definitely a special back in space. I just don't think he can get to space enough. I know there was a good conversation we had on Twitter about that. We've got to see whether this line in combination with the random backs that we have back there, whoever they are, whether it be Doug Martin, Jacquizz Rodgers, Charles Sims, Peyton Barber, or McNichols, they've all got to be able to read those blocks and convert, fall forward, get to the 3.5 yards per carry. That's how the magic happens. Do your job. Pick up blitzes. That's one of the things I think people overlook a lot. Do they do their job outside of toting the rock? We know what's going to happen with Doug. The question becomes what happens. Are they going to stay on the Peyton Barber train? Is Charles Sims going to have a resurgence? And what happens with McNichols, who I don't think anyone else is really paying that much attention to except for us, but he seems to become a fan favorite with the McWeapon nickname, etc. Last but not least, on the defensive side of the ball, this is a defense I think we're all really excited about. They got a lot of talent. They got a lot of possibilities, a lot of opportunities. But last week, they didn't look very good at all. Upfield pressure was okay. It was spotty. Tackling was poor. Run fits were poor all the way through the front 7. This is something that Mike Smith is particularly adept at fixing. They've got to get back into the film room, look at that film and say, listen, here's your responsibility, here's your read, follow your read your keys, then execute. And that's got to happen from the 1s through the 3s. So seeing that happen against Jacksonville is going to be an incredible or a focus area that we're going to have to pay attention to. So this week, when I look at this week, I hope to see a renewed vim and vigor from the offense on the ground. And I want to see on the defense side of the ball, I don't care if it's spectacular. I don't need all the turnovers to be great. I mean, those things are terrific. The interception last week was phenomenal. But tackle people. Be in your freaking position. Make the play. Show that growth. Show that the execution is there so that there's an expectation when the 1s are in, they're going to execute at a very high level. So we'll be back next week in the podcast. I will do a post-game review after I watch this game. And I promise, guys, I will rewatch this game. I've got my Game Pass up, even though there's no all 22, which is bullshit. And we'll do a review of that preparation for the all-important Game 3, where we'll see a lot of the starter time and really be able to make some decisions. So, again, big shout-out to all the guys out there doing the coverage from who's been away to be able to get that. A shout-out to you guys. Everyone who supported Richard Zeller. Shout-out to Justin Pulowski and his stick carriers, as well as the Buckaholics. Buccaneer Invasion, all you guys have been phenomenal supporting the Zeller cause. The GoFundMe was over, I think, $11,000, which was great. The service was tremendously moving. For all of you who've reached out, thank you for the care and compassion, and a big thank you to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Brian Ford, who came out and shared some time with the family as well, which truly did mean a lot to everyone as well. So we'll see you guys on Twitter. Go Bucs.